Hello and welcome to the Gourmet Garage. In this episode, I will show you the entire process of making fresh pasta from scratch. If you've never made fresh pasta before, this video will guide you along every step of the way. Everything will be covered, from mixing and kneading the dough and to rolling it out. You will see just how easy it is to make silky fresh noodles or pasta ribbons for lasagna or ravioli. All you need are some eggs, flour, and some patience and know-how. Using fresh pasta in place of store-bought box pasta will elevate every dish to the next level. I'll grab some eggs and some flour, and let's get cracking. The rule of thumb for making one serving of fresh pasta is 1 whole egg for 100 grams of flour. I like to use 50% tipo 00 soft wheat flour and 50% durum wheat Semolina Rimacinata, a double-milled finely ground flour. Using semolina flour provides strength and elasticity for a firm al dente bite. This recipe does not use salt or oil to make the dough. Adding salt is unnecessary, as fresh pasta should always be cooked quickly in salted water, and sauces tend to stick to fresh pasta more easily. If you add salt to the dough and the water, it can lead to an overwhelmingly salty dish. Mix the two flours together and pour it onto the work surface. Make a well in the center and add in the eggs. Whisk with a fork until combined. Start incorporating the flour. Incorporate the flour little by little into the middle of the well. With the help of a dough scraper, gather any loose bits of flour and scrape and fold into the eggs. The dough will start to get very sticky. Use your hands to squeeze the dough together. If required, you can remove stuck-on dough from your hands by rubbing them with some flour. Continue incorporating the flour with the eggs until it starts to form into a singular mass. Be mindful that you may or may not need to add some extra water to the dough, as not all flours and eggs are equal. If the dough looks and feels too dry, add a light splash of water as needed. If you have dry, unincorporated flour still visible, This is an indicator that more moisture is required. Add a small splash of water to hydrate all of the loose flour. When all of the flour has been completely incorporated, we can now start to knead the dough using the push and pull method. Hold the dough stationary with your non-dominant hand. Then, using the palm of your dominant hand, push the dough down and away from you. Then roll it back up and pull it back towards yourself. This is how we develop a strong gluten structure. When the dough resists tearing during the push and pull method, which typically takes around 10 minutes of kneading, form the dough into a ball. The dough is ready when the surface is smooth and uniform. The dough needs to be covered and allowed to rest for a minimum of 20 to 30 minutes. This will allow the flour to fully hydrate and for the gluten network to relax, making it easier to roll out. Once the dough has rested, it should feel soft to the touch and remain deformed when pressed with a finger. Dust the work surface with some flour and flatten out the dough into a square shape. With the use of a rolling pin from the center of the dough, flatten it out evenly from top to bottom. Turn it 90 degrees and repeat the process to create a rectangular shape. The dough should now be flat enough to fit between the rollers of a pasta machine in the widest setting. Dust the dough with flour and pass it through the machine 2 or 3 times. Pay attention to the feel of your dough. If it feels too wet, add a bit more flour. If it feels too dry, you can add some water to the tips of your fingers and pat the dough. Now, we must laminate the dough. This will eliminate air pockets and further develop the gluten structure, giving the finished pasta a toothsome bite. Take both ends of the dough and fold them into the center so they meet. Then fold it over onto itself once again. This is called a letter fold or envelope fold. Flatten with a rolling pin and pass it through the machine still on the widest setting. Repeat these steps 3 times. Now that the dough has been laminated, run it through the machine, but this time, turn the dough 90 degrees and feed it through the machine widthwise. This will make the pasta ribbon as wide as the machine. Roll it through a few times and dust with flour as needed. Set the machine to the next wideness setting and roll the dough through incrementally until the desired thickness is reached. Usually the thickness for noodles is in the middle range of the machine, and ravioli is near the end of the range. As the pasta ribbon gets thinner and thinner, it will also get longer. Cut the ribbon in half to make it more manageable. Make note of the last wideness setting that was used. Dust the unused pasta ribbon with flour to prevent it from sticking. Congratulations, the pasta is now finished. It can be used immediately or cut and dried for later use. It can also be stored in the refrigerator for 2 days. Check out the rest of my channel for some of these amazing dishes utilizing fresh pasta seen here. Thanks for watching this video by the Gourmet Garage. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe for more content.